Okay, it's rather simple. So we can see here that we're looking for the integration of this equation, okay? But as we can see, there's a very big power outside the parentheses, and we simply cannot simplify the equation using FOIL, since it's too big. It's gonna take a lot of time, and it's not efficient. So we got this method called integration using substitution, and here are the rules. So the first rule is identify the u. The u is where the problem lays, where there's a big power, and so we're going to use what's inside the parentheses. That is our u. The u is not the power, is not involved. It's just what's inside the parentheses. So u equals ln of x plus 7. That is our u. So next step is use formula. Dx equals du over u prime. So we're going to write it over here. Dx equals du over u prime. So as we can observe, dx is in our original equation. So what we're trying to do is basically eliminate the x's in our equation, so we can use the terms of u. So as we can see here, du, that means integrate by terms of u. So we're going to find, so we already have dx, we already have du, we just need to find u prime. And that's simply by differentiating this equation. So u prime is equal to 1 over x, ln of x, and 7 is simply 0. So our u prime is 1 over x. So we're going to do the next step, which is substitute dx. So we're going to write the equation again. 1 over x. And instead of writing this big equation, we're just going to write our u. So we're going to still use the power that is over here, since it's still our original equation, just written in terms of u. And then we're going to multiply this by dx, since here we have dx. So we're going to write du over u prime, which is 1 over x. So as we can see, we can simplify that. And we're going to do simplifying over here, which is 1 over x over 1 over x u to the 4th. So we're going to use, to simplify this big fraction, we're going to use this. We're going to use this famous Mexican method called el tortillazo. So what we're going to do here is multiply this 1 with the 1 in the bottom, which is an x, and this x with the 1 next to it, which is a 1. And we're going to end up with x over x times u to the 4th, integrating to the terms of u. But we're still not finished. This can be simplified. And we're going to continue simplifying it. X divided by x is 1. Simply as that. And 1 u to the 4th, differentiating by terms of u. Don't forget this thing. Okay? So that's going to be our final integral. It's going to be our fully simplified integral. So next step is to solve it. So the next step is to use the power rule of integration, which is right over here. So let's u to the n. So we're going to use the power rule, which we have right here, the formula. And as we can see, since it's differentiating in terms, since integrating in terms of u, it can be done with this integration, since it passes, n is the number. So what we're going to do is exactly as the formula tells us. And this is going to be our integration. U 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1. We're going to simplify that. It's going to end up as u to the 5th over 5. But we're not done. We're going to the next step, which is answer in terms of x. But see, we can never forget the constant. But we're not done, since we can still put the u inside here. So we're going to use terms of x. So the final answer is going to be our u, which is ln absolute value of x plus 7, all that in a parenthesis, into the power of 5, as it says over here. All that over 5 plus our constant.
Square.
And that's going to be our
Square up.
And that's going to be our final answer. So here's all the information that I have given you in this question. With this formula and with all the information. Now, who wants to come up to the board and solve letter A?
Me.
Cristian Lima Verde, come up to the board. You have been chosen. Good luck.
Okay, so
Yeah.
So to find the exact change, we need to use this formula that Mr. David gave us. So we're going to begin. Here we start with R equals VO to the second power. We substitute this one, so it's going to be 2500
I think that's a constant.
squared over 32 times sine 2, and this theta, we're going to substitute it with theta 2 because the formula says that is r theta 2 minus r theta 1. So we substitute this theta with theta number 2, since the formula says that first is theta 2. So we're going to multiply sine 2 times 11 pi over 180. And then we're going to subtract it with the same formula, but the only change is a theta. So we're going to do it. It's going to be big parentheses, 2500 squared over 32 times sine times 2 times 10 pi over 180. Huh. Okay, so
Christian, everything's great. You're just missing one thing. This is not R, that's delta R.
ah, thank you. So delta R equals this.
Times 0.374806593. All this minus 5,312.5 times 0.2029433. So we're almost done. Here for this equation, the answer is 73165.3528, and the answer for this equation is 66800.8042.
So delta R equals 6,364.591037 feet. Never forget the feet. Shoot, I don't know how to do letter B. Can somebody help me, please?
Oh, is it the one of the approximate change?
Yeah, it is that
Oh,
one.
I think I have the notes about this.
Oh,
so
thank
let's
you.
do it.
Thank you,
So,
Mr.
okay, we already got the exact change, which always is with delta. I believe the approximate change, and Mr. David told us correctly, it's VR in this case, because it's not a y, it's VR, which is equal to f prime of theta times the difference among the thetas. Okay, so we can get the difference among the thetas easily here, which will be 11 pi over 180 minus 10 pi over 180, which is pi over 180. So we'll use this later on. Now we have to get the derivative of this formula. So what we can do is, we know that VO is a constant. We leave it over there, 2,500 squared over 32. And that multiplying sine of 2 theta. This is what we have to derive. So we have to, sorry, that's not the word. We have to get the derivative. So what was the derivative of sine, Christian?
The derivative of sine is cosine 2 theta.
And did something go outside of it?
Yeah, what's inside of the parentheses
Yeah.
can be called degree. You need to multiply it outside, but you keep the same parentheses.
Only the 2, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like the derivative of 2 theta.
only
Yeah.
the two.
Okay, so I multiply, Okay, so here I have, we can calculate over here, which would give us, okay, still VR equals 1,000.
Like this. 5 times 2 cosine of 2 to pi. The theta here is the original theta, so it will be 10 pi over 8. This would give us 1.879. Yeah, too much decimals, but we have to use it to be precise. And that multiplies this. If we multiply it, I believe we get exactly, yeah. So we get that the approximate change is 6,406.535. So as you can see, it is pretty close to the exact change. So
Great job, Santisteban, and great job to you, Christian. Just remember, students, don't forget your units. That's very important. Now, one question here. How do you interpret these results in the context of the situation? Can anyone remind me the context of the situation?
I know.
Yes, Santisteban?
Yeah, okay. It was a projectile that it changed. If you change the degree where it was shot, it could change the length of the projectile, of how far it gets there. So I believe that in this case, when it's a little change from 10 degrees to 11 degrees, we got a further length of the projectile when it was given at when it was given at 11 degrees, right? So in this case, we know that if you shot the projectile with one more degree, it could get further, because there was a change in 6,300 feet. So that's more or less what I interpret.
Okay, that's correct, Santisteban. Just remember, if the degree is even bigger, there's a great possibility that it's gonna be nearer to you, not that far, as we have seen here. One last question before we end this class. It's already like 10:20. So, when do we use exact change and when do we use approximate change? Can anyone clear it up for me?
Me! I know!
Yes, Christian, please.
Yeah, I have that answer in my notes.
Please tell me.
To get the actual change is when the differences in x are big. When you have a calculator in hand. Yeah. And when it's an approximate change, it's a little difference in the x. When you have no calculator, like the old ages.
A very good answer, Christian. Thank you for taking your notes and always paying attention in class. That's enough for today, students. Class dismissed. Have a nice day.
Ring!